Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I'm Liz Quinn, your Star Scentsy consultant. So today what I have for you is a very special transitional melting basket for the month of August. And I'm going to include some up north memories, a little bit of reminiscence and nostalgia here with this melting basket. Now, some of these bars I'm not going to be able to make up some sort of memory or compare it to anything, but I already did this once, and unfortunately the connection to my microphone made it so hashy that it's not a video I could produce. And as I was talking through the entire first copy of this video, which I didn't have any sort of a theme for, at the end I'm like, next year I should do some sort of an up north melting memories melting basket. And I am thinking, since I have to do this again, we'll just make it more of that this time. So I hope that you enjoy some scent selections that will help you maybe pull your own transitional basket, because August is kind of an odd month, but we as a family are going to be going up to our very favorite place in the world, which is Petoskey, Michigan. And this year we have to do it at the dead end of August for financial reasons and schedules and all that. It's a little cheaper after most of the kiddos are back in school and people have gone to college. But it really sparked some great old memories as I was going through these bars with cut number 1. So I hope that cut number 2 is just as authentic and that you guys enjoy. So let's just dive right on in. So first off here, the first bars are just things that I did not get around to melting earlier in the summer. So a lot of these don't have any nostalgia attached, more like the second half of the video started to bring up memories as I was going along. And I just really want to get these bars melted though, because they're really, really good. So first off, we have good old raspberry hibiscus tea, which I'm telling you, I have not melted this at all this year, and shame on me because this is such a good Scentsy bar and it's a fabulous summer one. So if you think about rocking on the back porch sipping some tea, this doesn't smell like tea really. It smells more like the hibiscus, which you can make an herbal tea out of that, and that would be authentic to this, but I don't like hibiscus tea. I like almost any other kind. But then you add the raspberries, and there's a little bit of an orangey citrus in the background of this, and it's a fabulous, sunny, happy summertime bar. Love this. So I need to melt some of that. Next, I've got good old mango matcha, which is fantastic as an alternate warmer melt with raspberry hibiscus tea. It's just as strong and it stands up to that heavy scent. But this is bright and juicy with the mango and the matcha and the salted cucumber, and it's just always a hit, and I haven't melted that. Another one where I really haven't melted it since it came out is the summer collection, which I believe will be available till the end of August. A bar from that, which is pink pineapple sugar. Now this is more of a soft body care smell, but it's so good. So to me, there's almost like a coconutiness in the background, and then a sweet, creamy sugar, and that pink pineapple, which is a more gentle pineapple. Super, super pretty and sweet. Next, I've got Wild Watermelon, which was from BB&B, which will be going away on the stroke of midnight on the 31st. Several of these are going to be BB&B, and if you have yet to start a club or order your bars, please do that, because this was a great round to bring back my bar. And now that we have this 5-year rule, let's take this Wild Watermelon. It's not going to be coming back to even be eligible to vote for 5 years. So this is a pretty credible Apple Jolly Rancher scent, but because you add some pineapple and some apple, it balances it out a little bit. And I'm looking forward to melting this in the heat of summer. It should be nice. Next, we've got one from BB&B that's one of the standouts for me, and that is Coconut Daiquiri. I melted some of this a couple weeks ago. It was so nice. And I want to melt some more before summer is over. So it's got the banana. It has really nice creamy vanilla and a hint of sassy lime margarita in the background. It's fantastic. So then after that, we have Pina Colada Cha-Cha, which I have melted a lot of, but I just want to do some more before summer leaves. It's so good. Sweet and creamy with the pineapple and the coconut. Then we have a bar that I just need to force myself to melt because I'm going to have a hard time saying goodbye, and that is my last bar of pineapple coconut vanilla. This is an extraordinarily beautiful, complex, sort of body care, creamy scent. It's got fig, which is what makes it so weird with the pineapple and the vanilla and the coconut, but it's fantastic. But I didn't really figure out how fantastic it was until I couldn't club it, because it sort of slept on getting to know that bar when that BB&B round was active. Next is the bar for me for August, and that is Coastal Sunset. I kind of save this to melt in August because it's such wonderful musky coconut, and this amber, it's called amethyst amber, and even when I did my research on amber for our Scent Note Spotlight video last month, I didn't find any amethyst amber. But whatever it is that makes this bar so special, it really reminds me of the end of summer, and I save it for this time of the year. Next, I've got kukui and coconut, which I have been melting on and off all spring, summer, but I just need to get some more in before the fall comes, because this is just so good. So it's got macadamia nut, it's got kukui nut, it has jasmine. It's warm and nutty and rich and complex and summertimey and very good. Another bar here is driftwood and jasmine, and this is a fabulous bar. I wish I had truly desired to club this when it was in that Island Days 5-bar collection several Augusts ago now. It's really interesting. My first bar of it was kind of funky, and sometimes as consultants, when we get early access, I really feel as though the pour isn't very balanced. That happened with Forever Fall last year, and some consultants are like, this bar just reeks, it's disgusting. And I had gotten a couple different packages of that collection from our Harvest 5-bar bundle, and one of my bars was awesome, and another one wasn't quite as good, so I don't know, sometimes that happens. Anyway, the point of that is that the driftwood and jasmine was funkier than bars that people were getting later, and I wish that I had clubbed it. It's so nice. Then we have Palo Santo, which is a lot of people's least favorite bar that Scentsy's ever made for spring, summer. I love this. It's like smoky, charred, slightly sharp wood. I can't ever get enough, and I know other people are offended by this because they want their Palo Santo sweet, but I like this bar very much. It's very bonfire smoky, but not like around the campfire, which is fall. This is more like summer wood. Then we have Tiare and coconut, which I just perennial favorite for spring, summer. I put it in almost every melting basket. I'm always melting this bar. I have it in my bi-monthly club so that I can do 5 a year, and that's saying a lot for such a heady, strong scent. It's sort of like Lush Gardenia, but add coconut and sort of tropical it up a little bit. It's so good. And I do have both coffee and tea here. So if you see different mugs, there is an actual reason. So then the next bar is Cake Me to Paradise, and this is such a happy scent. It was new in our Spring Summer 10 new release section. And another bar that I should put in here is Sun Castles, but I've been melting that all spring. It's so good. You guys have to try that if you haven't. But this Cake Me to Paradise, I have to be a little bit more in the mood, and I want to do this on one more sunny, hot August day. So it's got sweet, warm, very fluffy cake, and then it's got some rum, and it's got a lot of beautiful, almost like orange blossom oranges. There is a sweetness and almost a floral quality to it, even though it's orange juice, like really good. Then another one, this BBMB, is Sea Salt Mist, and this is a spectacularly gorgeous but gentle bar. So this is one that a lot of people were disappointed in because they wanted it stronger. But when you put this in the bedroom, and probably after it sits for 6 months, it's going to be a medium, maybe medium light, really good bar. This is so nice. It's just got beach grass and amber and subtlety and is beautiful. Then good old Sea Sun and Fun. I have been talking about this since I got my Bring Back My Bar kit. This is one of those that I'd been waiting years and years to get back though. And you just can't pass up melting as much of this as possible when you've been longing for it to be back for forever. It's super strong. Sunblock scent that makes me happy and connects me to my childhood. So for the first memory, although you guys have kind of been hearing this memory as I talk about Sea Sun and Fun, my father grew up basically on the shores of Lake Michigan in a town called Manistee. And we would go out there pretty much every summer, visit my grandparents when I was very small. Unfortunately, my grandparents passed away when I was pretty little because my father is older for having us and his parents were older for having them. So we just haven't had as much time with the generations on that side of the family, or both really, as I would like to. But when I was a child, there was a beach in Manistee where we would spend so much time. And I'd put the little 80s water wings on, you know, where mom or dad, they put water all over your arm, and then you grit your teeth and they shove the water wing on and it scrapes your skin and it just burns. But then you get the wings on. And then you get your goggles on, and then you're out in that water, and it is the best day ever. And my father really enjoyed being out in the lake. My mom, not so much. And so he would, toss us in the water and let us, ride on his shoulders, and just all the things that dads do that are amazing. And that scent reminds me of happy little children playing with sandcastles by the water. That's where that comes from, is that kind of memory of several years of doing that. And then we've taken our girls to Lake Michigan, and they were a little bit older, although Abby one time almost ran away from us on the beach all the way down. All the way down with all the crowds of people having a wonderful time, just running because it was fun. And we're like, child, you're going to lose us in the crowd. And so my generation, I don't even remember the stress. And then my kids, it's just, we're not really bubble wrap parents, but it's just a different generation. Anyway, so there's like way more story than you're supposed to have over sea sun and fun. Okay, the next one's going to be Lake My Day. And growing up on a beautiful lake here in this area, this also connects me to many, many summers on the lake. I was a lake brat, but I really wasn't a spoiled one. I mean, my parents have always been hardworking, ethical people, and they provided very well for us, but I know how to put in an honest day's work. But Lake My Day just reminds me of tubing and skiing and paddle boating and all that kind of stuff, and catching, not really frogs or turtles, because I wasn't exactly that girl, but my best friend and I like to farm clams, because those didn't move very fast. And this reminds me of all of this. So good and happy. Then Peter Pan Sweet and Sassy is in here more just because it's a happy bar. And I haven't melted it. So this is really nice tangerine, kiwi, sweet light, citrusy fruits. Very pretty. And it throws very well. Then Camu Camu, I just haven't melted this at all, and I really don't have a memory to attach to this because the times that we have gone south into Florida would be my husband. My parents hate to travel out of the state, which is why all my childhood memories are in Michigan. But we would take our kids down to like Cocoa Beach and, oh gosh, what's on the other side? By Tampa, the Clearwater, all that. We've done all of those things, and that reminds me more of that, but that's not summer vacation. That's the wintertime. So then we've got Here Comes the Sunflowers, and being a Michigan girl, the fields of beautiful produce and sunflowers and corn and the cherry forests, the cherry orchards up in Traverse City. Oh, they're so beautiful. Traverse City is the most lovely place, and up in the Leelanau Peninsula, you guys cannot go wrong for a glorious summer or early fall vacation. So this reminds me of the farm stands. Here Comes the Sunflowers. So that one's got musk and it's got strawberries, and there's a very fast car passing a very slow car out there. Sorry. And let's see, musk, strawberries, and sunflowers. More summery. Scarlet sunflower, which we still have. The other one's retired. This will come back in September. Scarlet sunflower is a little bit more September with cranberry and apple, but it still has that wonderful musky sunflower scent. Like if you poked your nose into this beautiful real sunflower right there, you would smell this, and it is just so good. So then the next trio of bars celebrates all of our vacations along the Lake Michigan coast, but more kind of down here. I love having a map on my hand. So up here, you've got Little Traverse Bay, wonderful, awesome memories. Petoskey is a little bit farther up on Little Traverse Bay because there's like Grand Traverse Bay, Little Traverse Bay. And then down here you've got Ludington, and way down here you've got Manistee and all this. But there is a place called Ludington, and there's another town that's escaping me that we love. Frankfort. Oh, these bars remind me of that. So they have wonderful shops where you can get a really good ice cream cone that'll dribble down your arm, and beautiful beaches. Frankfort has a gorgeous beach. And toasted marshmallow, sorry, you can't even see it, reminds me of some of the coffee shops where you can get like a marshmallow latte. And it just reminds me of all the summery good treats. This is fantastically malty and warm, gooey. I hope you have this in your club. It is so good. Then Bonfire Beach, you can get in the catalog right now. And this is like all of the bonfires that you see people doing out on the beach. And only some beaches allow you to even have the little campfires and stuff. And this reminds me of that. It's like the other side where Elmira is. Like there's the Elmira side and there's the Frankfort side. And Frankfort's a little fancier. Elmira's a little more in the sticks. And they have the most glorious beach. And that's what this one smells like, minus the Michigan seaweed, but we won't talk about that. So then we have Vanilla Waves, which again takes me back to the gigantic ice cream cones that are running down your arm with the gooey caramel all over the vanilla ice cream. That's Vanilla Waves, which is so strong. So then these next three, no summer vacation memories, but farm stands are overflowing with plums and peaches and things like that late August, early September in Michigan. And I mean, this is just a good bar. You don't even need an excuse to throw this in your melting basket because it's just too good. So this has the bubbly plum juices. It's got really nice, almost a crusty note. It is one of Scentsi's best, just all year baked goods scents, but it really does have its origin in farmers market's plums. Then here's a bar that is just good this time of the year, and that is French Kiss, and this pork lamb is so disgusting at this point. It's gotten oily, it's kind of bent. This is coconut pulp and caramel and figs, and it's fabulous, and I need to just melt it. And along the same lines is good old Pinkberry Sandalwood, which is a new release this spring-summer. It will be going into the fall-winter catalog and very appropriate for transition between August and September. Because it's got warmth from a little bit of sandalwood and some tonka bean, but then it's also got the cherry and some pinkberry, so it's sort of summery too. Really nice smell. So then we're going to get into a little bit of herbal, because this time of the year, sometimes I just want some fresh and clean in August. Lemon Lavender was from the BB&B that is current. Really good though. This is a strong lavender because people always complain that Scentsi's lavender doesn't throw, and I do understand that, but this one does, as long as you can handle the addition of the sharp and clean lemon. Really good herbal bar. Very, very good performer. Now, one that's not a very good performer is lots of lavender, but I would just put this in my bedroom on the same day that I did the lemon lavender out here. This is sweet though. Gentle chamomile and lavender. So beautiful. Very soothing bar for late summer. And then Provence Lavender is our July scent of the month, but it's so good I want to warm some more in August. This is just a nice, really sweet, a very saturated herbal lavender. It's not as cold as French lavender, and I feel like there's a little bit more concentration of the oil in this Provence lavender. So then the next thing that I've got here is a whole big old pile of apple. So Red Delicious is current in our BB&B. Such a good smell. And you know, a Red Delicious apple is not just a Red Delicious apple. If you get a fresh one from the orchard, and the best orchard we have is a little bit south of here. This reminds me of the first time I had a Red Delicious, where I was old enough to appreciate that this is a really good apple. It's not mealy and squishy like the ones at the grocery store. This reminds me a bit of that. And I just love this particular apple scent. I know it's old school. It's in our current BB&B, and it has sweetness and almost a touch of spice at the end that is different than, say, Apple Press, which is a little stronger. Apple Press is a little stronger. This is a little bit more fall because it's got some rose and some pear. They're both great. Probably the Apple Press is a little more sophisticated, but I just really like that old school Red Delicious. So then I've got a couple here that go a little more orchard, a little more woodsy, that'll push us towards September. Grandma's Orchard is sort of like that first day where you're cooking up an excuse to go to the cider mill, but you're a little early, like it's not really the season. Because this has, I think, pear, quince, definitely some warm, maybe applewood, and some apple. It's a really good homey early fall, late summer scent though. I miss this a little bit out of the catalog. And I also miss Orchard Apple and Spice, which is just all the same things, except this has wood and cherry with the apple. It's a little sweeter. This is an absolute standout bar that we had first as 3-bar harvest bundle. Then it went into the catalog. Then it came out, and I have enough of them that I am still milking my stash, but in a couple years I'll run out. That is such a good bar. And then this is the one heavy-hitting apple bar that I almost always melt in August rather than later, and that is good old apple s'mores. This is a weird one. Don't have a memory for this because I can't even, I've never made a s'more where you add apples and then it falls into the fire and you're doing it over cedarwood. If you do, and then you got to be drinking coconut milk too. If you wanted to put all that together, I guess you could have a real experience of apple s'mores, which is cedar, coconut milk, graham crackers, marshmallows, and apples. Talk about weird. But it's so good. It's so good. It's such a strange bar, and it's like you melt 2 or 3 cubes, you've had your fix for the year, but you gotta melt that 1 bar of apple s'mores. So then we have more farmers market celebration, lemon verbena, just all of those late summer herbs. This one in farmers market, so late summer herby. But this has that clean lemon grass almost, although it's lemon verbena, which is a nice soft woody herb. It's beautiful, actually. It really smells good in the garden. And then I think this has a little bit of lime. Such a good, cheerful scent. It's one of my husband's faves. Then I have Farmer's Market, which is more like cucumber, carrot, rose. And I kind of get some parsley in here, but it's nice and sweet. So that is also very herbal farmer's market-y. And because August is a great time to go take an exhilarating ride in a convertible, which I used to do with my dad when I was a kid. He had this huge white 73 Grandville Pontiac, I think. And he would put me on the armrest in the middle so that I could see out, and we would go exploring. It was wonderful. So Route 66 celebrates those good summer memories with my dad. And this is sweet. And it's sort of between cologne and sweet herbal and woody, but that's just a good bar. I don't even remember what's in it, but it's great. Okay, next we do have a couple things that are pushing into fall, where in August I really start to get that fall bakery baked goods sweet tooth, but I don't really want to go full on pumpkin cupcake yet. So Spiced and Spirited is in the Gordy Goodness collection that will launch on August 12th. I really like this. It says that it's got pumpkin, brown sugar, and bourbon, but I get more of like a really saturated, some sort of a caramely candy with all that bourbon, and it just smells like a old-fashioned confectionery something. So I'm going to be melting this in August, and then good old toffee butter crunch, which I keep begging one bar off of my mother-in-law because silly me took it out of my club a while ago when I had a budget crunch. This is so nice. This is really good buttery toffee with walnut. This throws so well, and it totally satisfies that fall baked goods craving, like I said, without having to dip into the pumpkin bars quite yet. Really, really good. So then we've got, this is kind of a weird assortment. I pulled baked apple pie just because it would go with a lot of the other bars. I know that this is not like a super outstanding or unusual bar because it's always in the catalog, but it's one of my favorites, so I want to melt it again. Just really nice, lightly spiced, gooey baked apples with a hint of crust. It's just really good. I love that bar. It goes well in my home. Some people say it doesn't perform for them. It performs very well for me. Okay, then let's get into a couple bars where this is definitely pushing September. We've got the Sunsets bar from our Star Wars collection, which this has pink pepper and amber and all things a little lighter than the next bar I'm going to show you, which is like everybody hates that bar except me. But this is really good. And you could melt this anytime, spring, summer, fall, or winter, but I think late summer is exceptional. Really, really nice. I hope that y'all clubbed this if you loved it, because I think that is one of the best bars we've had all year so far. Amber Hollow. This is the one where people mail it to me because they know I love it and they all hate it. And yes, this makes you really, really want to go put a scarecrow in your yard and start to plan your costume party. What's the word I want? Your costume for your costume party in the fall, like your harvest party or your Halloween party. I love this bar. Clove leaf, pepper, really heavy amber, really heavy spices. Makes me very happy, and I know people cringe when I say that because you don't like it, but see, I'm matching my favorite bar for this video. Okay, then we have a couple more things that really did remind me of up north. So when I was doing this video the first time, I said sandalwood tangerine. There's something in this bar which I also overlooked melting because it's not really summer and it's not really fall. It's kind of an odd scent profile. There's something in this bar that reminds me of the mahogany and other really fancy wood, old antique wooden boats. My father had a beautiful boat before my time. Like he had it when I think my folks were in the apartment, and then they did build a house on the lake over here, and both of them worked full time before I was born, and they got married a little later in life and had me quite a bit later in life than normal. So they had accumulated some things, and he had this glorious boat whose name I do not remember, and if you are in the wooden boat community, I could tell you what it was and you'd know, because my dad never won any awards for this beautiful boat. So when you go to the boat shows, we'd go to the Herbal boat show, there's this smell when the sun is hitting all the varnish and all of the beautiful chrome plated there's another word for that, the marine chrome plating that's on everything that's on the boats. Totally forgetting the name of that. But there is this distinct smell with the wood and the varnish and the ropes, and there's just something about all those nautical things. This triggered the Hessel Boat Show memory. And my dad was very proud of that one boat, and when he sold it, it actually went on to win awards and become very valuable. Go figure. And I remembered that when I was doing this video the first time, and I hadn't thought of that in years. So I wanted to share that. Old antique wooden boats, get yourself some sandalwood tangerine. So another funny memory, which I ended the video with, and I'm so bummed that you guys don't get take one on this, but there's no way you could hear me over the garbled microphone. Another thing that we would do was to go to a couple of cities that are kind of up Gaylord Grayling area here. And there is an old historical stand of pine trees that didn't actually get logged, because that's one of the things that Michigan was known for at the turn of the century. We were a logging state. We pumped pine into all the rest of the U.S. And these Hartwick pines are old. And there's like a logging camp reenactment there and all this. And we're going through the woods having a good time. And it reminds me, I'm getting to the funny story, reminds me of Cambridge, which I need more of this bar. I have a lady who watches who contacted me. I think we're going to do a bar swap. Because there's something in here. There's pine needles in here. It reminds me of the forest floor where the pine needles are dry and the heat of the summer brings up a scent like this. So amazing. So we had that when we went through the logging camp reenactment, the pines and all this, but it's late. We're all crabby. We're in the old trusty Chevy, the big van, not the conversion van, but like the regular van with all the bench seats. It's like tan on tan stripes. And we have our map, and my dad's yelling at my mom because nobody knows where they're going. And all of a sudden, and it's getting dark, so the beams from the vehicle, just think Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine. You've got the beams from the headlights on the road, and all of a sudden there's this snake out there. And we all start screaming, except my dad, whatever. And my dad's going to go out and move the snake so he doesn't run it over. And the thing gets up and puffs up like a cobra. And of course, that went over real great with my mom. And we're all not doing so well. And I'm like, stop, it's a hognose snake. Don't you guys know what a hognose snake is in Michigan? They look like a cobra, but they're not. Leave the thing alone. And we drove on and didn't hurt Mr. Hognose Snake. But if you don't know, there is a strange kind of snake in Michigan, and maybe they're in other states too, where when they get scared, they have these little flaps. They're not as big as a real cobra, but they get up and they pretend to look like a cobra. So it totally freaks y'all out. So that's my hilarious story that I had at the very end, and it was funnier the first time. But anyway, that's how we vacation in Michigan. That's how we roll. So let's keep going. Highway Run is similar to Cambridge, and both of these remind me of that vacation. And they're just nice. Outdoorsy, fresh, a little bit of that dried pine needle, so good. And then last but not least, I've got a little bit more of the woody bars. Under the oak tree, I don't have any memories to attach to this, but this is just a really nice August transition bar. Because it's got apple, and it's got oak, and it has a little bit of leathery mahogany-ness. And it's just perfect. Like, it smells like the old-fashioned grist mills and things. Again, when you go and you see historical sites, and the buildings are made out of a lot of wood. And then we do have a Partialville grist mill not all that far from where I live that is historical, and it kind of gives you this scent when you're inside of it. So see, I found a new way to tie that into something. And then vanilla suede is along the same lines, a little bit more rustic and masculine, old-fashioned scent. So good. So it's got that pinch of spice, and it's got all the vanilla and all the suede. And it's a great August-September scent. I mean, it's good any time of the year, but it's great. And the last couple that I have here are things that are not going to be in our fall-winter catalog. So this one you can't get at all. This one you'd better club before September 1st. So Palo Santo and cinnamon, I thought that it sold well enough that we would get it back in the fall, but it doesn't seem as we're going to. It's really nice, though. And I kept wanting to melt it fall-winter. Found that I didn't like it with pumpkins and the more gourmand spices. So I think this will be better with like the Palo Santo and that, because this has some bergamot. It's got a little bit of cinnamon in the Palo Santo, but it's a unique scent. It's kind of sharp, but it's really good. And then white amber and silk. Oh, this is nice. This will be great for a rainy day in August where you just want to cuddle up with a book and a good cup of tea, which, as you can tell if you watch my channel, I have an excuse for that any time of the year, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether we need a fire, whether we need a bonfire outside, whether I'm in a hammock with a drink. You still got to have a blanket and a cup of tea. So this is very, very elegant, sophisticated. It's got cotton, it's got amber. I'm not sure what else is in here. There might be some bergamot. I don't remember. But this is really unique, and it's not going forward to the fall winter catalog. So club this. I put it in my quarterly because I think you'll miss it. So I think that's enough bars. I told you this would be a lot of bars, way more than I could probably even get through, but I hope that you were entertained by some of the stories, and I would love to know what is your favorite memory that might be attached to a Scentsy bar from your own summer vacations, and what also is just your favorite bar to melt in August. So have a great day, guys. I'm going to check and make sure that this one recorded the sound properly, and if it doesn't, I'm going to cry. Should be good. Love you guys. God bless. Bye-bye.